So they wanted to know, because the spirit sometimes talks in riddles. So what we did find out was singing with the moon and the spirit moving, that the moon will place herself to take the hit for humanity, and from this hit, the moon was split in half.
Wow.
In the year 2036.
Wow.
So at that time, we made them statements here on the Prophets Conference. And I know that date because that same day my son was born, during the exact moment of the eclipse. We had an eclipse that day. Check it out. We're standing outside watching it.
Okay, so for a moment there, I was breathing easy about 2012, and now all of a sudden, I'm starting to worry about 2036.
2036, but it's not going to be the Earth, see? The moon's going to split. Time is going to be different. The 13 moon cycle is going to be different. We're going to a 1440 cycle.
Okay. 1440.
Yeah.
What are those numbers?
We don't understand that yet.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what's so good about breaking bubbles of old their thought patterns created for fear and all this. But what we have is the basic truth of everything. So you do have time to prepare, and you don't get guns or bombs or make wars on your neighbors or anything. The Spirit said you prepare by no more judgment. Don't judge yourself anymore. Forgive everyone, especially yourself. Find peace with everyone, and especially yourself. And learn to love yourself. Before you even learn to try to love somebody else.
So no judgment,
forgiveness,
find peace,
and love everyone. So they didn't say anything other than that. So the moon's going to take the hit. Now, the statement was made back in 1998, and the scientists, they found what was coming, and they more or less said, yes, 2036, the moon's going to take a hit.
Wow.
That was made public last year, October.
Wow. Could you explain 1440 real quick?
I have no idea. 1440 hasn't happened yet. With the moon, probably the movement's going to be a little bit different,
Wow.
Yeah, and the time, because the gravitation, the moon controls a lot of the gravitation and rotation of the Earth and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So something's going to take place there.
I look forward to learning more about that. And speaking about learning more about that, I haven't been able to dig into the book yet, but you talk a lot about codes, and then I had the pleasure of walking around with this as we were getting ready for the interview. And could you tell us what we're looking at?
Those are on this side
on
that's showing the universal laws of Creator. The other side is the spiritual laws of Creator. The universal laws are feminine, and the spiritual laws are masculine.
Am I holding it up right, or is this the way they go? Okay.
Yeah.
And these are obviously symbols that you call codes,
Right.
and you talk about them in the book. Why is this important to us?
Those symbols were introduced over 52,000 years ago, then another 13,000, 26,000. And they come in form of star bundles, those 4 of them that came in, but they come in at certain time periods because of how humanity lived,
Who brings these in?
There's different star systems that reintroduce it all the time. This latest one was from the Orion people. There was 3 teachers that came in, then later on those 3 advisors. But they come as representatives and diplomats from the Galactic Federation.
So they would be what we have called extraterrestrials.
I wouldn't say that. I would use the word Wichakpe Oyate, which means star brothers and sisters, because if you use the word alien, it creates energy,
A separation.
a separation.
Okay.
See, and when you use that, they're going to be gone. You know, if I called you George or John or something, you're not going to.
You called me George and John earlier.
So, and you came
Filippo
around-
is fine
Yeah,
now.
okay, Filippo. So if you're going to call something outside of being respectful to them, you're not going to hang around, you know, or something's not going to happen.
So star brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So the Spirit said, don't pray to them. They're your brothers and sisters. They come here to help, to help you. So that's what we do.
Okay, so these were brought in how long ago, you said?
Those ones, they're the latest. They were brought in, but there was 18 crashes in 1947.
Of spaceships.
Just in the Four Corners area alone. And out of those 18, there was 10 different star races that the bodies were retrieved. And we had like people from this galaxy called We had the Zeta Reticuli, the Pleiades. You know, we had people that looked just like us. And so that's why the top secret went above top secret because of all of this. Out of those crashes, a lot of the starcraft, the light crafts had beams in there, the hieroglyphs around, you know, just much like us, putting up a little things to remind us of who we are and what we're doing at this time, you know. So in a craft, there was a set of symbols that were all the same, and these were the ones here.
Wow, on a bar just like this, maybe?
Yeah, they're a little bit longer. The ones that I've seen were like 6 feet.
You have seen?
Yeah, the ones that I've seen were 6 feet, but they were much lighter.
The material, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them were from an inch, you know, height, about an inch to 18 feet.
18 feet.
18 feet.
Wow.
So the set that were the same meant that they were all in communication with each other.
So
And this is the set.
in the book, you describe the codes and what they mean, or how we could use them, or what they mean to us now.
Yeah. Everybody knows these codes already because they're law. They're a reminder of law. Internal law within your DNA structure. The laws of, you have the universal law of free will, the spiritual freedom of all, the universal law of change, the spiritual law of growth, the spiritual law of innocence, truth, and family, the spiritual protection of family. You have the universal law of movement and balance, and the spiritual strength, health, and happiness, universal law of life, and the spiritual law of choice. So you have the laws of light, sound, vibration, the spiritual law of intuition, the law of judgment and karma, universal law of nature, and spiritual protection of humanity, universal law of love, spiritual law of healing,
And that's
universal
all
law
here.
of perception, and the spiritual law of future sight, which is the laws of prophecy. You have the laws of equality, you know, and also the law of growth that works with that.
So what do I do with this? Like I can't look at one of these symbols and say, I know what that means, but are you saying that intuitively I do, or it's doing something to me when I look at
Yeah.
it?
Well, if you look and feel at what I just said as far as law, you know by sound about these laws, and by sound you know these laws because you've broken every one of them. Okay? If I say free will, You're not thinking about it, but if you think about free will, you've broken that law. You know it really well because you've been violated and you've also violated others, knowing or not knowing.
So this is to help us come back into balance with free will, for example?
Yeah, with yourself. That's a divine plan.
Wow.
It's an inner plan to get back into who you really are. Knowing who you really are.
I like the idea of knowing who I really am, and I feel
Yeah.
it's a lot.
And it's not Filippo.
It's not Filippo. I'm standing antelope or something.
There you go. Yeah.
No. What do you mean it's not Filippo? Wait a minute.
Okay.
So, but what you're saying is we're much bigger than who we think we are
Oh,
here.
yeah. If people knew their potential and they walked their potential, you know, but we're bred to walk in fear.